Okay, here first of all we have to see the DNS records. So what type of different type of records are there, and next we have to see what are the lookup zones and what are the zones, lookup zone and lookup zones, and what are the zones in that one. Okay, so first of all we'll see what are the records in a here. Okay, so first record is SOA. What is SOA? Start of authority. SOA, start of authority record. Okay, what is this start of authority record? We'll do. We'll type otherwise it is uh, start of authority. Okay, what is this start of authority? For example, I added a record. Okay, I add a record, DNS record. One record is added. For example, the SOA number is showing in a for example 10. Then after I add a record, then SOA number become 11. Okay. Now I delete a record. Delete the record. What happened? It become 12. I modify. Recording is there. Recording is there. Okay. 10 record become the number SOA number become 13. So it is very useful while you are dealing with certain things like a primary and secondary DNS kind of stuff. It is very useful. So it will give you a statistics how many times record got changed. So any change in the record, it will the number will be incremental always. So go to tools, go to DNS. Okay. Here is a DNS and click on this. Under DNS you can see your server name. So here you can see, go to this one. So this is name and IP address. Okay, I will explain this name and all again. fqdn, where we can see fqdn and all. So this is name and this is an IP address. Okay, what is this? SOA record 49. It is showing 49. It means 49 times the records, the 49 records may added, or maybe 49 times record is keep on changing. For example, if I create a new record here, so this will be incremental. If I delete the record, it will be incremental. If I modify the record, it will be incremental. Always SOA is always incremental. So you can see this SOA directly properties. I double click on that one. So currently serial number is 49. I can change it also. Which one is a primary server and responsible person? Okay, refresh interval, retry interval, expiry after minimum. Okay, TTL records are there here. So you can increment also manually. Also we can able to increment also. Okay, so this is SOA record. Next record is NS record. NS record means name server record. NS record means name server. What is name server? DNS servers only. What is name server? DNS servers only. SOA, start of authority. So any change in any change means any record change, any record change. Okay, So SOA incremental increment MEN increment, it is, I think so, it is enough. What, where change? So in a particular domain only, in a particular domain records only, if any change occurs, like a vedicsoft.com, contoso.com, or a networktraders.com, any .com. So like in that one we have a records, those records, any change occurs, okay, any record, any record change occur means adding, deleting, modifying of a record, SOA is increment. SOA will tell how many changes occurred from starting. So that is SOA record. Name server record, NS records. What is this NS? Name server means, okay, how DNS servers, mainly name server means what is a name server? Name DNS, DNS servers only. In your network, how many DNS servers are there? What are their names? What are their IP addresses? Will tell by name server record. So this is what is the name server name. So CTS2 win S1. So this is a name server. So if I have a 10 name servers are there, so I can put a 10 name servers in this one. So that is name server record. Next, A, host address record. Okay, 4 years. This is also host record, but IPv6. Okay, so we'll see here A means A, host record. Host means a computer or a server, anything. So host address record. Host as a resource record. It is there for everything. It is resource record, host record. But it is belongs to IP v4 addresses only. It will there. IPv4 address. Okay, it's a host records. 4 years. 4 years indicates also host address only, but it is IPv6 address. If you are using IPv6 address for a host, then it is 4-year records. It shows as a 4-year records. So we'll go to the server once again. We'll see that one. See, it is host A, host A, host A. Means these are all hosts only. This is a server. This is a client. This is the parent. Means DNS server address. This is a DNS server address. This is my client address. This is a server address. Advantage of using a DNS is one point I miss here. It is DNS is a, I miss a point here. It is in a here. So advantage is it will dynamically change its data. Static records are static records. Dynamic records are like it will be changed when my client IP address change, automatically it got a new IP address. So like that. Okay. So different things are there. Next, CNAME. CNAME. CNAME record is alias name record. Okay. CNAME record is alias record. Alias record. What is the alias record? It's like a duplicate name. For example, my host name, my host name. Just I put a host for a host name. My host name is, for example, host one. Okay, but I can use like this one. Alias record is like a www, means duplicate. Actually, my name is different. While I'm telling to outside, it is maybe different. For example, hmm, you can see this YouTube thing, right? So my name is Latif Sheikh, and my channel name is also Latif Sheikh. If I want to put a different channels, like you can go to uh, their email ID is different, and the name of the channel can be a little bit different. See, you can see some Chinese name is there, Yang Katang, Edureka. So maybe there are email account, maybe not the Jurekar and all. So there are different name. They will put it like this, Java brains, like this. Telugu and Savan, like there are so many showing things here. Okay, like this. So it depends upon a user and also they will change, right? So same thing like so. We know we understand what it is. Um, like internally, I have a private IP address, or externally, I have a public IP address, like that. So my server name is like host1.vedic.com, but my server is a web server. My server is a web server, but while publicly accessing, people are accessing my server. I want people should access my server as a www.vedic.com. Then host one will respond. So that is called a alias record. Means so always not always same name. So it can be a different name. Actual name is a maybe different one. That is same name. So I will show you that one in a practically. But first of all, I want to explain it. MX record. MX record. So MX record is a mail server record. So if you have a mail servers in your network, so mail exchanger resource record. So mail server or a mail exchange. Exchange means Microsoft. Mail exchanger server related record. So I have a mail server and mail server name server name is for example host2. Server name is for example host2. But people should access my mail server like a mail.vedic.com. So like this, it's also like a alias record, but it is the mail communication like SMTP protocol came up. So automatically it will go to mail exchange kind of stuff. Okay. So actual name is host2 like that. Next, SRV records. SRV records won't show directly on your main thing. SRV records only domain wide records only. Service resource location can service locator resource record. Service locator. Okay, resource record. What is this thing? It only works in a active directory manner only. It works in a active directory. Service location records. If the domain name is a, for example, you created a domain and the domain is a domain controller type, active directory domains, not a just a website domains, not a just a DNS record. For example, um, website records are not a domain controllers, right? I am using vedic.com, that is a domain controller. So domain infrastructure, domain related things. Okay. And website domains, that are domain names, not a domain controller related, it is just a DNS record only for name to IP address. There is a server, whether it is belongs to domain or not, that is not important. So I have a server. Okay. I have a web server. Now people want to access my web server with a particular name, with a name, some name they want to access in through internet directly, no problem. That is again you confuse part. Okay. For example, I have a server. Oh, sorry. What happened here? Okay, I have a server. For example, server name is, for example, anything. So host. Okay, okay. I put a web s1. This is my server name. It is not belongs to anyone. It is not belongs to any domain. It is a standalone server. It is a standalone server. So I have a website. So this is some web application I installed. For example, if it is a Windows, it's a IIS is I installed. I created a website here. Means web pages. I put it. Okay. So I put a web pages in a website manner. So I put a certain websites. So I'm in intranet, means local network only. I want to open this one. So how do you open? So I go to the browser. I'll put it. Protocol is http:// web s1 for with the name you want to communicate web1, or if you want to communicate http colon slash slash with IP address. For example, the server IP is like this 81. Okay, this is a server IP. Like using IP address, or you can use a name like this. Why I didn't put a .com kind of stuff? Because it's not in any belongs to any domain, or any .com kind of stuff is not there. Or simply I created this one. If I use like this, so DNS will tell you what is this and how to connect it. This purely LAN network. But when I access from internet, so when I want to access from internet to this one, so I can't access like this, right? So I can't access like this. I have to access with a certain .com kind of stuff. So what I will do, so what this one will do, I don't have any domains, no domain registrations, and nothing is there. So I will go to the public domain server. I'll go to public DNS server. Okay, so .com .org this, so I will go to a public DNS server in any type of DNS server like a big rocks or anything. So I have to register. I have to register my name. Okay, name I have to register. What name I have to register? Like a domain name. Name like register. Which domain name? Like for URL purpose, access purpose. Name. Okay, name and address. My public IP address. I will register. So when I type that name, for example, I registered a name like this. Um, www dot basic no 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 okay latif.com to something. Okay, so what happened when I type here http colon slash slash www.latif.com. So what happened first? In generally we don't know IP address of this one. We'll ask your DNS server means entire infrastructure. So .com, okay, under .com Latif, under Latif you can see www like this. Internally only, here only you'll get this information. Okay, so when you register like a Big Rocks or a GoDaddy or any lot of DNS registrations are there. Free DNS registrations also there. You can try free DNS registrations. Okay, so like what happens, so when you type like this, so obviously we got a IP address, right? So we got a IP address, then we'll communicate it to this one with the IP address directly. How can we communicate directly? Because we know the IP address. Actual name of the server is like this. You are not belongs to any domain, native.com, nothing is there. But in the DNS, there is a record. In the DNS, there is a record. Okay, when you open in a publicly, then automatically record. So DNS, so mainly for public communication is very important. In a private, maybe you can manage without a DNS server, but you can publicly. Okay, compulsory we should need a public communication means then we have to register in a public DNS name and IP address we have to register. When the person is typing, automatically it is came. Okay, so like that. So for a mail communication and web communication, file communication, we are using all names only, but finally we are communicating with IP address. That's why you need a public DNS servers. Okay, uh, actual point is SRV, right? Actual point is SRV. In this condition, in this type of registrations are a not only a public, you take a private local DNS server also. Just you take a DNS, just you take a DNS server, a internal network also, and you created a domain type. So like latif.com. Okay, here you created a web1 dot. Okay, so you created web1 record, web s1 record. under DNS server. It is a main zone. Latif.com is a zone, and here it is a you created a record with some IP address. Okay, so IP address. When you type again, I will create a one what is in CNAME record for this one, and when you type that IP address here or here, so we'll redirect it. So you don't need to be in a domain, and this Latif.com is just a zone record. It's not required a domain controller should be there. Understand? The Latif.com domain is not required to create this Latif.com, just a zone, and to put a records inside. So we don't require domain controller. If you have a domain controller, next one is if you have a domain controller. So I have a DC in a Latif.com DC is there, for example. What happened? This domain controller create certain records in a DNS also. In this, under this one, it creates certain records. That records, you can see the folder name is msdcs underscore records. Okay, msdcs records underscore msdcs actually it is. So I didn't put like that. Okay, so msdcs records you can able to see. What is these records? Records are give a complete hierarchical structure. In this MSDCS record contains complete hierarchical structure of your domain controllers. Okay, your domain controllers, global catalogs servers, global catalog servers, additional domain controllers, RODCs. Their records will be stored here only. Primary domain controller, backup domain controller, or you can select primary backup or a domain controller, additional domain controller, global catalog servers. So in almost like in a forest or maybe in a same domain. So all the domain related things will be stored here only. Okay, the domain record. So what record there actually final record is nothing but SRV records. Okay, so this is service location records. So what is the use of this service location? If you want a SRV record, it means there is a domain active directory domain controller must be there with that name. So then only these records will created. Otherwise, these records won't created. So I will show you that one. Okay, so this is underscore msdcs records underscore msdcs record. You can see dc, gc, pdc domains. Dc means all domain controllers. All domain controllers their SRV record story. I put a TCP, so that's why it is showing two records, service location records. Okay, this is sites. I created a sites, right? So sites, under site, what are there, like that. Domains. So your domain record, how many domains in the forest, like that. Okay, so GC, global catalog record. GC, global catalogs, how many global catalog servers in your forest. Usually it's like forest or domain. Okay, PDC, how many primary domain controllers are there. DC means all domain controllers, guys. DC means all type of domain controllers, means primary domain controller, backup domain controller, or a additional domain controller, or a RODC domain controller. All domain controllers in a DC. This is only for primary domain controller. This records only for primary domain controller. So this is MSDCS records. If you go to the inside of this MSDCS record, I am going to DC, TCP, and if you can see Kerberos and LDAP. What is Kerberos? Authentication protocol, right? LDAP is also authentication protocol. I open Kerberos. You can see DC underscore MSDCS. This is a domain for that one, and priority is 0, weight is 100, but port number is 88. Kerberos port number is 88. Host offering this service. Understand, host offering this service. So which service? Kerberos service. What is the service? Kerberos service. You can see clearly here it is. The service name is Kerberos. Protocol is TCP. Port number is 88. Who is giving Kerberos service to you? This person. This host is giving Kerberos service. So that is, who is this candidate? Like this. Okay. So if you go to this one, so then you can go to here. So this is giving that one, and that is the IP address. Like so, SRV records will tell you who is providing the particular service, either it is like a Kerberos service or LDAP service. SRV records tell who is offering the service. You can see here it is LDAP service, port number 389. Who is offering this LDAP service? This server. This server is providing LDAP service. Here Kerberos service. Who is providing Kerberos service? This server. So like that. So these SRV records will tell you. If you want to get this underscore MSDCS record, you must be a domain controller. You must be a domain controller. Means with this name Vedic.com, I created domain controller. So I created domain controller with Vedic.com. That's why these records are added. These records are added because of I created a Vedic.com domain controller. Okay, these records are added because of domain controller. It has its own separate SOA also. See, so why it is small confusion is there. So I will tell again very small thing. Okay, this is my domain controller and this is a DNS server. Okay, think like this is my domain controller DC and this is my DNS. Okay, so I want to create a domain, means active directory ADDS domain. I want to create ADDS domain. I want to create. So for example, latif.com. I want to create this one, and also I give a DNS server IP address also, right? DNS server IP address I'm giving here. So who is DNS server? This is a DNS server. This IP address only we are providing here in the server. Okay, the server we are telling this is our DNS server. So when you tell this is a DNS server, so here you have to create a latif.com, which does not contain anything. Here we created latif.com and we have to tell this server IP here. We have to give our DC IP address. That's it, not more than that one. Otherwise, automatically it will create. Okay, it's we done this thing in 2003 time only, not from 2008 onwards. We are not touching this kind of stuff. Okay, that time also we don't take more servers, less RAM capacities. Okay, so we can't do more. So what happened when you create a domain controller here, when you promote this server as a domain, when you promote this server as a domain controller, okay, automatically it adds certain records into the DNS, that is called underscore MS DCS records. MS DCS records will add it. So what is there inside? Main important record is SRV record, service location records. This service location records will tell who is your domain controller. Service location records will tell who is your domain controller by records of Kerberos, and LDAP records. Okay, so I'll pause here. Okay, so we'll see again. PowerCat we miss what I explained here. Okay, so I will explain this one again. Okay, so already I explained about all other records. So can I able to hear my voice, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I want to tell a simple story. Like morning I told one story, but so it's a very simple one. Like um, to understand SR records and other things also. Just I have to complete that one. No. This is a domain controller. Okay, this is a domain controller. For example, domain controller name is Win S1. Okay? Domain controller name is Win S1. For example, I have a DNS server separately. So to understand DNS server separately, for example, this is a DNS server. DNS server name is 1. Okay, and I have a IP address, for example, 192. So 168.0.53 or maybe 153. I taken 153 as a DNS server address, and here is 192.168.0 dot 254 as a my IP address. As my IP address, this one. Okay, and what is my DNS server address? DNS server is separate, right? So then automatically is my DNS server address. Okay, for this server. Okay, and for a client, so this is a client C1. A client is having some IP address. For example, client IP address is 160 dot maybe 10, okay, or maybe 101. So you can take anything, no problem. And this is also having DNS address, right? So which IP? 153 only, because that is a DNS server here. Now, when you are joining client to domain, when you are joining client to domain time, at least first join to domain time. So in a member of in a computer system properties, okay, computer name change, then here we go to member of, then under that one domain, and you given a domain name, right? So you given a domain name like Vedic.com. In my system it is I use Vedic.com. Now this is Vedic.com. Vedic.com is a domain, not a domain controller, right? It's not a system. It is not a system. It is not a particular thing. It is a logical administrative boundary of users and computers. A logical administrative boundary of users and computers. It's a logical boundary only. This is just a name. That is nothing. Okay. So you want to join to the this domain. So you are joining to that domain. So you are want to become a part of that domain, means logically you want to part of that domain. Now who should authenticate to join it? Who will join it? Who will add your details to their database? Who is maintaining a database? Domain controller only. So this is having a adds database. This person will going to authenticate you. So authentication is done by a domain controller. Database maintained by domain controller. Domain administration by domain controller only. But here I didn't given, if you observe, if you observe, I didn't given who is the domain controller name. So what is a domain controller actual name? It is Win. What is fqdn for a domain controller? Win S1 is a domain controller name, means host name. Domain name is Vedic.com. So this is a fqdn of this system, right? This is fqdn of this system. Okay. Now if this client want to join to DC, he said like a Vedic.com. Okay, if I know the IP address of Vedic.com, there is no IP address of Vedic.com anyway. So I said I want to join to this one. So who will join? So domain controller. Who will maintain a database? Domain controller. Who will give authentication to login authentication, joining authentication, everything by domain controller only. So this is a fully qualified domain name. For example, I have a two domain controllers in the same network. The same domain, I have a two domain controller. So this is a, for example, ADC. So this is name is WinS2. This is also having some IP address. For example, IP is like this: 192.168.0.253. For example, 253, and DNS again 192.168.0.153. Okay, like this. And what is the fqdn for this one? Win S2 dot Vedic. So here it is. If you try like this, I want to join to this domain. This is a domain controller. This is also a domain controller. Either it is primary domain controller, backup domain controller. Okay. So which one should be authenticative? Which one we should get authentication for this one? Either this one or this one. Which is your Vedic.com? Both are Vedic.com only. Servers are different, but I didn't give an server name here. I given domain name only. So how to identify it? So first it is a name, right? It is Vedic.com name. So first it will request go to this one. What is the purpose? Not a name to IP address. The purpose is I want to know who is my domain controller. Who is my domain controller? So I have to go. I send a request to my DNS server. So request I will send Vedic.com. I want to join to Vedic.com. So I want to know who is offering Kerberos. Because what is a Kerberos? Authentication protocol, port number 88. So I'll send a request. I want a Kerberos system for Vedic.com. Or I want a DC domain control information for this Vedicsoft.com. So Vedic.com. So what DNS will do? DNS will open a SRV record. SRV record. The SRV record. So point out who is offering Kerberos or a LDAP authentication system, or a, who is your domain controller? Who is your domain controller? Is information available under SRV records. So what is this service location records? Who is your domain controller? Who is your additional domain controller? Who is your global catalog server? Who is your primary domain controller? Like that, which site you are belongs to it. So every information in that MSDCS records only. So it will go to MSDCS vedic.com, vedic.com. There SRV records. It will give you information who is your offering these services. Who is giving offering these services. So here in the DNS, first it will check. So who is the in from SRV records we know one thing, that is wins1 dot vedic.com is your domain controller. So from SRV records again, in normally in an under vedic.com. Okay, you can see wins1 is belongs to this IP address 192.168.0.254. So what you will get like this. Okay, so this IP address you will get to the client. So once you got an IP address to the client, we'll contact administrator. So we'll contact the server. The server will verify your username, password, and everything. Okay, so authentication. So then it will join into the client. Not only like that. So when you every time you log into the system, every time you log into the client system, like a user 1, user 2, like you log into the client system. So what it will do, it's try to resolve it will try to find out who is your domain controller, as per the SRV. Okay, once you got a domain controller name, means or a fqdn of a domain controller, then we'll find the IP address of that uh, that server. Okay, IP address. So once you got an IP address, we'll communicate to our domain controller. Just for understanding only, I divided both the things. Here in our situation, DNS and DC are both are in same system only. Second, in DNS, if I create a zone, for example, contourso.com, just I created a zone, but there is no domain controller with this name. There's no domain controller with this name. It means this is don't have any SRV records. If a zone have a MSDCS and SRV records inside, it means there is a domain controller with the domain name. Okay, and if you see a zone and you don't find any SRV records or MSDCS records, DC, BDC, GC kind of stuff, so it means there is no domain controller. It is thing. And of course, there is one more problem. Sometimes you given everything, IP address, physically connected means the connection between server and client is also good, and IP address is correct, both are pinging each other. But still, if you are not able to join to the domain, it is the most possible these SRV records are not there. That is also happened 2 times or 3 times in total my lecturing part. So 2 3 times it is happened. Okay, so one day one guy, first time that is I have seen, is trying to join the client to the domain again and again, but is unable to join. So what happened? I checked everything. Finally, just for a small doubt purpose, so I open DNS. So I want to see the DNS name is correct or not. Then I found these records are not there. These records are not there. So I find that is without a DNS SRV records, you can't able to log in, because these SRV cards will tell you who is your domain controller, who is providing Kerberos services, who is your domain controller, who is your providing Kerberos services. Here with the name it will show. Okay. You can see this here, same name you can find like this. This is the name, this is the IP address. Now we will get a IP address. So this is SRV records, service location records. Just for clarifying, and one more thing is there, but I will tell that one later. Okay, so if possible. Okay, I have written all the records. First, SOA record, start of authority, NS, name server means DNS servers are in the your network. A is a host record for a IPv4. 4As is a IPv6 host address, but IPv6 address. Alias name is like one host. Actual name of the host is different. That access is a different one. It's a duplicate name, alias name. Okay, like that. MX record is a mail exchanger's record. SRV record is a service locations record. Another one is a PTR record. PTR record, a pointer record. What is a PTR record? Pointer record. Okay, so these pointer records will be there. Okay, so these pointer records available only reverse lookup zone. Okay, this is available in reverse lookup zone. So it is actually IP to name type records. Reverse lookup zone means IP to name type. There's a common records in lookup zones that's we will see again. Okay, so like SOA NS is a common in both forward lookup zone and reverse lookup zone, and the reverse lookup zone having a PTR record, forward lookup zone having these records automatically. Okay, So this is about your records first of all, and how to deal with the records. Then I will stop that point. Okay. For example, this is a server. This is a forward lookup zone. First, I will explain the forward lookup zone. So, what is a forward lookup zone? It is name to IP address. In forward lookup zone, has a domain names. You can create your own name also. Right click. Sorry, forward lookup zone. Click new zone. Next, primary zone. Then go to next. Give the zone name. Something like I give contoso.com. Any name like Microsoft.com you can give. Okay, like that. Next, you can choose anything. Later I will explain this one. Then finish. Automatically zone will be created. Okay, see, whenever I create a zone, automatically whenever I create a new zone, Vedic.com is there and contoso.com is also there. Automatically it create a two records. One is SOA record, another one is start of authority. Sorry, one is the start of authority SOA record, another one is name server record. Who is your DNS server? If you have more DNS server, then physical DNS servers are there, then it will do it. So one DNS server can have many domains. One DNS server have many domains. But if any domain is belongs to domain controllers, means Active Directory database domains. Active Directory database domains, they have these records. If there are not belongs to Active Directory databases, that won't show any MSDCS. For example, I have one server. I created a domain controller. I make that one as a domain controller, and I created a contoso.com in separate server. In this server we can't do it. Separate server we created it. So what happened? So that server I given for that server, DNS server is this machine only. For other contoso.com domain controller, okay, for that one I given DNS address is this server. So automatically under this MSDCS records will be created. This also will be created like a underscore MSDCS dot contoso.com will be created automatically. If you don't understand, still okay, no problem. So try. Okay, guys, this is a Vedic.com. So this is how we can able to create it. I want to show you a few things. Now I want to create host a record myself. Okay. First of all, I will create here. So first of all, it is forward. So I'm doing in a forward lookup zone under Vedic.com. Okay, under Vedic.com, I'm going to create a record called a PC1 record. Record is PC1 record. It will show host a record, capital A record compulsory. So host a record and IP address, name to IP address. Okay, IP address is, for example, I'm using this network, right? So better I will create same network for one or two things. Okay. Um, so I will start with um, so 10 is not taken, right? So I will use 10 first of all. So this is host a record. What is the fqdn of this one? What is the fqdn of this one? PC1 dot vedic.com, but it will show PC1 only because the record is under vedic.com. So because it is under vedic.com, automatically this is fqdn, but it shows record like this. Next. So I'm going to create another record like a PC2 host a record 192.168 dot something 0 dot maybe 12. Okay. So this is also PC2 dot vedic.com. You can create either in your what network you are using or different network also you can create it, no problem. But it won't work anyway, both are won't work. because this IP address is not existing in my network. This is also not existing in my network. Okay, like that. Okay, I go to the PC3 host AAAA record with a 200, sorry, 2000 ::A. Okay, so because it's a IPv6. Okay, so simply I created some simple one. So this is a IPv6 address. Because of that one, so this PC3 using IPv6 address. Because of that one, I'm getting 4 years. But always fqdn is same. I'm not writing fqdn, but some people think okay, because of it is IPv6 don't have a fqdn. So that kind of people are also there. So don't worry. Like, okay, next. Okay. Next, I am going to create a web1 is my server name. Web1 is my server name. My web server it is. Okay, it is. I'm creating a host a record. Okay, so I'm giving 170.16.0.80. Okay. So what is the fqdn? It is web1 dot vedic.com. Actually, it is my web server. That's why I put a web1. Someone send a message. Okay, no, it's in WhatsApp. Okay, so this is a record. Okay, so I will tell you how to create alias record. Okay, next I want to create alias record for this one. Like people should access www.vedic.com, not like a web1.vedic.com kind of stuff. So what I will create, I'll create a CNAME record. So for us it is I'm putting cap letters. Okay, I creating a CNAME alias record is web1.vedic.com. So what I said here, I didn't given a IP address here. What I given this fqdn here. So www is going to this one. This is this IP address. IP means that host. So what is the fqdn for this one? www.vedic.com. So what is the meaning of this one? Either you enter www.vedic.com or web1.vedic.com. Both are same PC only. So we'll see by testing it also. Okay. Of course, you can create a MX record also. For example, mail1 is a server name and host a 172.16.0.25. You know why I'm giving 80.25? Anybody? Why I'm giving that 80.25 kind of stuff? Any idea? Like that. So you for a MX record purposes. Okay. So all are completed. SRV we won't create. Already I told about SRV. So this is like we can create a accounts. Next, reverse lookup zone. We'll go to the reverse lookup zone also. This is forward lookup zone. Forward lookup zone means what? Domains are there in a forward lookup zone. Forward lookup zones has a domain names and subdomains, and the domain records name to IP address. The forward lookup zone meaning is name to IP address or a domain name to IP address. fqdn to name IP address, anything you can tell, but I'm telling a common name is name to IP address because you are seeing a name and an IP address here. And of course, other records also there. Forward lookup zone has a other records also there. Okay, so what are the other records are there? SOA. Okay, what is the SOA? For example, previously what are the SOA is there? It keep on increasing. For example, SOA is a 10 before I start creating this one. So it is become 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. The current position is will become 17 automatically. Okay, so we'll see that one again in a real time. So like this, Vedic.com only. First I will go. So then we'll discuss other records in different places also. Vedic.com. Okay, this is a pure DNS, so don't put a domain controller things into the DNS part. Just for a SRV record only we are discussed the domain controller thing, but here think only DNS part only. Okay, think only DNS part only. Already two records are there and I'm going to create a new record. So how to create? So in the empty space right click, you can see new host A or a 4S. So I'm going to create a record is PC1. What IP I given? 172.16.0.10 record I created, right? Add host. Okay, record host successfully added. Now I'm going to create a PC2 with a different IP address, right? 192.168.0 maybe 12, anything. So this is host name. This is fqdn. This is fqdn add. Okay, see, I created it. I'm going to create a PC3. So I'm giving an IP address is 2000 colon A. Double colon must be there. That's it. Because I can if I want to type all the numbers like a entire hexadecimal number part, it will take lot of time. So we don't do it. So we'll take very simple. Okay. So up to now, I created three records. We'll see the three records. PC1. What is this? This is the IP address. PC2. This is the IP address. PC3. This is the IP address. So you can test it from your PC or from client PC also. You can try. Okay. So login. Okay. Any user, no problem. Guys, how many are not yet completed? Please do all the things by today. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to CMD because if you do faster, means if you complete the practical part, so then you will get issues. Then we can solve the issues. Yesterday also we got an issues from starting issues only, not ending issues. Okay, so I'm pinging to from client. I'm pinging. So from server also you can try it, no problem. So PC1 dot Vedic dot com. So Nagzom it is com. Okay, PC1 dot Vedic dot com. What will happen? So I got a IP address. So if you see the PC1 dot Vedic dot com, first I got a IP address. First I got a IP address. Of course, it won't communicate. It won't get destination host not reachable means destination is not there. Either IP address is wrong or maybe PC is shut down or maybe it is not there. Okay, like that. Ping PC2 dot Vedic dot com. Okay, because of it's a different IP address, it is not understanding that pattern. So it is showing ping request could not find. Okay, if you don't find at least first time, then you try for a second and third time. It is not there because it may be because of it's a different IP pattern, means the different class of IP address we are using there. So maybe because of that it is showing like that. Okay, because we don't have a default gateway also not there, that's why it is also not showing. If you have a default gateway, so definitely you will get it. Okay, next, ping pc3.vedic.com. What, why pc3 is not coming? Yeah, it is not showing here because of maybe I disabled IPv6, right? So maybe because of that one it won't ping, that is I know, but at least it should show now. uh, yes, because of IPv6 disabled, that's the problem. It's okay, no problem. Next, like that. So at least this one is working, so next one also will work. So I'll go to this web 1. So for web 1 I use 172.16.0.80 add host. Okay, done, that's it. So this is a web 1. So I'm going to create alias record for a web 1 alias record. So new alias CNAME. So alias is www or www1 header 1. Okay, um, uh, my PC1 like that. So, like a subdomain type or a header type or a host type, you can see. Okay. So here it is fully qualified domain name for target host. Browse forward lookup zone Vedic web 1 like this. This is full name. Browse DNS server, open it. Forward lookup zone, open it. Vedic, open it. Then select the web 1. Okay. See, this is alias name. This is alias fully qualified domain name. Original fully qualified domain name. Like this. See, you can see web 1 having a IP address, www having a web 1 fqdn address here, alias CNAME, alias CNAME. Okay. So if you want to test it, you can test it also, that one. Here I'm testing ping web okay, ping www.vedic.com. So directly I try to go with the vedic.com only. So www.vedic.com, not web 1. But if you see it's a pinging to web1.vedic.com. So original name it is showing here, and also it is showing that IP address given to web1 only. So this is alias record. So what happens when I said www.vedic.com, request is coming to this one. Request is come to www.vedic.com. Request, try to search .com. Where is the .com? First it will search the where is the .com. So under .com, where is the www? And in the www actual host is search for a first it will search vedic.com. In vedic.com it is try to find where is the www. And what is the actual alias name? web1.contessor.com, web1.vedic.com. Then it is go to web1. Web1, this is the IP address. So we'll get a IP address like that. Okay. I think you got the point. I think so. I'll try mail one and IP address also. It is nothing to do with this one. Anything is nothing to do with it, because just to show record only here at currently, because we don't have any other parts. MX record. So host or anything, just I put a mail one only. Mail one only. I'll put, otherwise mail. Mail is also okay. Same thing, like you have to search mail one. Okay. Yes, both our names are same. If you want to put a different name for this one, you can put a different name also. Okay. Mail server priority is given and it's okay, like this. Okay. So both names are same I given. So this is about your records. So in a DNS we can do a lot of things. Okay. For example, if you see this is a win C1, right? So win C1. This is a IP address of win C1, right? So you are trying CMD from server. I'm doing this from server. So ping. Okay. This is from server. I'm pinging to CTS to win C1 dot. You can leave like that also, no problem. Or otherwise, if you want to give more clearly with the fqdn, also you can give. Now you got ping response and we got a IP address also. Okay. I want to show you one thing here. I'm going to create a new host record only, not alias record. I'm going to create a new host record on it. New host record is C1, only C1. It's not big name also. 172 16 0106. Because see, if you see here, it is this WinC1 also having a same IP address, but I given different name here, but host is same IP address only. IP address is same, but name is different. We'll see whether it is works or not. We'll check it again from the here. I'm pinging to c1.vedic.com. I'm also pinging. See, it is C1 only. It is showing, but it's the same system with a different name. I saved it, but actual name of that server we don't know. Actual name of the server is whatever it is, whatever the name of the uh, device or a PC, but you can use an IP address. You can use an IP address. Whatever the name, you can in a DNS you can put any name also, but address is same only. For example, I want to send a envelope, a postal thing. I put your name and address. I put your name and address, and your home. The post will reach to your home or not? Very simple. Post will reach to your home, right? Next, if I instead of your name, I put your father name or a brother name or sister name like that. Whatever I name, I put it, but the address is same. Address is same. Still, you will get a thing only. For example, already I told DNS is the best example is mobile phone call directory contact list, right? So I put your name in one manner and I put a IP address. Phone number is same, but name is different. Phone number is same. Is different. For example, instead of saving a name like Ajit, I put a different name. So what happened? still we can able to communicate. So name is for a understanding level only, but actual names are very important anyway, but you can give different names also. Next, well, different scenarios are there, so that's why I'm telling all these things. I'm open another pane for explaining one thing. I have a two host. The host one is name is something name. We don't mind it is. So source 11 is a host 12. What it is a host 11. It is a host 12. This is having their own IP address, right? So they have their own IP address. For example, 116 and 0 44 11, right? So I'll put a 11. So 172 16 0 12. Okay, this is a one host, this is another host. Now what I want to do is I creating a name, so some name, so like a for example host what I have to do, maybe two servers and with the same name, one name only, for example web12. So I put a name called like a web112, web112, so like that, something I give a name. So this is single name. For example, this is a one web server, this is another web server, they have their own IP addresses. So client is requesting with this name. Anything is with this name only. So they are asking, I want this website. Okay, so request is go to DNS with this name. So client knows this name. They don't know these two names. So there's two servers. Okay, so here I'm going to create a record, then you will understand a little bit the story what I'm telling. Here, sorry, I'm creating a new host record. Name of the record is web 112 and IP address is 172.16.0.11. Add host successfully added. Again web 112, same name only. Okay, instead of using their own names, I'm using for both the things, I'm using same name only. So if you are observe, name is same, their fqdn is also same, but hosts are different. Hosts are actually different, but I given in a same name only. So what will happen whenever the client, for example, there are both are web servers, both are web servers maintaining same common website only. For example, whenever the client send a request, okay, when client is send a request to the DNS, okay, I want IP address of web 112. So what happen? It will give, okay, take 0.11, take 0.11. So your request is go to 0.11 and someone is came, someone again, I want a IP address of web 112, take 0.12. What happened? You are communicated to this one. So again someone is came, again they're asking DNS, I want a IP address of web 112. So it will giving you 0.11 and you are communicating to this one. So like this, you have a multiple servers, all servers having a same data, and what in a DNS by playing this kind of trick, okay, playing this kind of trick we call trick. So what happened? So DNS is giving IP address of one host one time, another time it will give you another host, like that, depends upon the client traffic. It will give you like I'm getting a lot of people in the queue, so what I will do, so take first counter, take second counter, first counter, second counter, second counter, third counter, first counter, second counter, third counter, first counter, second counter, third counter, like that. So I will start giving it tokens. This is for example, think like a token. I have a two counters, host 11 and host 12, but everyone is coming to me, and I'm giving a count token like take 11, take 12, take 11, take 12, take 11, take 12, like that. I will distribute the traffic. Automatically, load balancing will occurs on the servers. On the servers. So this concept we call it as a round robin. Okay, this is concept we call it as a round robin. Round robin. You know Robin Hood? Same thing. Round robin. Okay. So one time it will give you one IP address. Another time it will may give you another IP address. Okay. So it depends upon the request, the person who sent, based on that only. So ping. So you have to increase the traffic, then only we'll understand. Sorry. web112.vedic.com. Okay, got 12. See, instead of 11, I got 12. There is a number, 11 is there, 12 is there. So luckily we got 12 to see that one. Again, now I got 11. Guys, have you seen this one? Oh, it is working. Usually it won't come that much easy. Okay, we have to do a lot of things, but we are getting. So whenever I said it is first time by pinging to web 112, I got 0.12. Again I pinging, I got 0.11. It means it keep on changing, like it depends upon its wish. Like I already told, no, so distributing a token randomly, like one time I got 12, another time I got 11. Okay, this is a round robin concept. So here we got output. Usually we won't get it. These are the things in a here. And here, so important thing is record name and IP address is important. Name and IP address, what type of record it is important. So whatever the IP address it is, no problem. Important is if you are create any record here, thus record is belongs to a particular domain only. If I create a record anything, the record is belongs to Vedic.com only. Next. Okay. Next. Here it is contoso.com. I created a contoso.com. So if you see start of authority is 1. If you see start of authority is 49, just I'm going to refresh. Now it is become 59. So it means 10 records I created here. Next. Contoso.com. I'm going to create a record PC5 maybe 172 16 0 15. Okay, we'll try like this. So if you observe what is a fqdn contoso.com pc5 contoso.com I'm getting. So whatever it is, when you create a record in a particular domain, so that record is belongs to them only. Of course we can cross also, we can create it, like I can link this record to, I can link to Alias record here. So I can create a Alias record in different places also possible, but currently look at this one. Okay, next. This is a forward lookup zone, and in a forward lookup zone we have a name, means domain name, and name and IP address is there. Okay, so remember that one forward lookup zone means. So I'm going to create a new domain under contoso.com. I'm going to create new domain in a contoso.com. So new domain. So new domain. It is become a subdomain to subdomain type. Okay. So I am creating a new domain under contoso.com. mm, Pune. Okay. Now can you see this is under a Pune folder is there. If you see contoso.com, under contoso.com I have SOA, NS and host records are there. In Pune I don't get a SOA, NS records, but I can create these records. I can create these records. So just for example PC6, I'm going to create 192.168, sorry, 172.16.0.16. Okay, done. See, if you see its fqdn will change, means .com, .contoso, .pune, pcc, pc6. So why I got like this along with a subdomain. So this is the subdomain or a delegation domain things. We can separate into different domain parts, but this is don't have any SO and all. So the record information also will be added to here. So one to if something is open backend, yeah, here it is. It's open. Okay, that is not refreshing. Okay, C3 means I created this record. Already one is there. So after creating this one, it become two, and I created this one 3. Okay, if I create another one, so we'll see PC 7. Okay, I'm going to contoso refresh. It will become 4. Like this is a subdomain. When I create a record, see this is a PC5 contoso.com. When I create a record under Pune, it shows fqdn like this. Normally it is showing a name, but it is actually a fqdn to IP address is binding is there. So forward lookup zone has a domains, and under that one there is a records from name to IP address binding. Okay. Next, what is this reverse lookup zone? Um, okay, what is this reverse lookup zone? Reverse lookup zone is IP to name type. What is reverse lookup zone? Guys, I didn't add few things here. I already added only few, but remaining things I didn't add it. Reverse lookup zone is depends upon what network you are using. Exactly, say reverse lookup zone is IP address to name. So which name it is direct fqdn. So there is no other feelings. So it is tell direct IP address to fqdn here. So depends upon what network you are using, that zone will be created. Currently, whatever I create, it is a primary zones only. So I'm creating a zone here, new zone, new zone, primary zone. I'm unchecking. Okay, you can leave this for this one. I can just leaving. Next, you can select anything, first one or second one, no problem. I'm selecting first one because IPv4 reverse lookup zone and network ID. I'm using 172 class B and pure class B I'm using. So you can see 172.16. The zone name is like this, reverse order. Okay, next. You can use first option or second option, your wish completely. Next, finish. So this is my reverse lookup zone. So how it is look like? This is also having SOA and S part. This is our reverse lookup zone. So I created a reverse lookup zone. So I will note down that my reverse lookup zone here. 16.172. Okay, in hyphen addr.arpa. So this is a zone name. Under this one, you will get like this. So as per this list, I'm writing first. As per this list, I'm writing first 16 0. So where is this? And PTR. So you can put a PTR. Okay, PC1 dot vedic.com. Understand IP address and fully qualified domain name. Okay, next web1 80 PTR web1 dot vedic.com. Next 172.16.0 dot 25 PTR mail1 dot vedic.com. Also, I created some accounts in a contest.com also, right? PC5 is I use a 15 for a PC5, right? Where is this? Here I created another one also, that is contest.com. So what I created, PC5 post here record only I created. It is an IP address 172.16.0.15 I created. So what is a fqdn pc5 dot vedic.com. Okay, just for one record example. So under that one again Pune under also there, but for understanding one example is enough. So 16.0.15 PTR PC5 dot contoso.com. I created under contoso.com. This is mistake. Okay, I created under contoso.com. Okay, it means this is it, right? Okay. So this is only think about network only. It won't think about which domain you are belongs to it. It will only think about your network only. ARPA, right? So ARPA. Okay. So this is a 192 series I created here. So for that one I'm writing here. Okay. It if in case like you want this for this network also, you can create it. Okay. So 12 I given. So PTR. It's a PC2 I think. Vedic.com. So what happened? Reverse lookup zone IP2 name only. But if you look at this reverse lookup zone, don't have any addresses. Just two addresses came. Okay. Even if it is not in a domain, because it's have our network automatically came because of DHCP. Okay. That's why I selected a second option. Remember that one. Okay. So here, Vedic.com. So I'm going to C1. Select this one. Can you able to view clearly or not? Select. Okay. I selected this one. Apply. Okay. I'm going to each and everything. Uncheck. Apply. Okay. Apply. Okay. All you can able to go for it. This one also you can go for it. No problem. Server. unselect, apply, okay, mail, it is already selected, apply, okay, automatically selection came, I think so. Earlier not there. So once we created and refresh, automatically this information came. It will give you a PTR record warning. Why? Because this network not yet created in a reverse lookup zone. Like this, you can do all for everyone. Okay. If you are already created, means record is already created. Okay. So that's we need a like this. But if you are create a new record, now if I create a record, automatically update into reverse lookup zone. Okay, if I create a new record, so automatically it will update into, so you can see contoso.com, vedic.com, like that these things are came up. So how it is came? It came from the main only. Of course you can able to create your pointer record also. You can able to create a pointer record also. Okay, CNAME record also you can create it, pointer record also you can create it. So this is about your forward lookup zone and reverse lookup zone, and there is a zones are there, primary zone, secondary zone, kind of stuff, but understand the reverse lookup zone and forward zone. Okay, so because previously it is